Now, this brings me to my next kind of reason to get in a plane and travel 40 hours round trip for the pleasure of being out, being in Thailand. And it's worth noting, I think, that every month I spend in Thailand costs me at least $30,000 in time off work and all the various expenses involved. Most of that is the time off work. So it's a pretty big disruption. 40 hours of round trip travel, several days of jet lag on the way back, and $30,000 in lost revenue, plus all my American expenses continuing. My house sits around making, charging the same $4,000 a month and all that. Um, so what's worth that amount of money, that amount of hassle? And it's something called spontaneous quality time with empathy, with warmth, with courtesy. So in Thailand, I experience 1,000% more quality time spontaneously than I do in the United States. So what does that mean? Well, spontaneous time is, of course, it just erupts in the moment, as opposed to having to play phone tag and text and plan about this spontaneous time for weeks. Like, can I have lunch with you? Text me next week. Oh, can we reschedule? That's not spontaneous time. That's kind of the U.S. rat race. But in Thailand, I literally pull up to strangers, Thai or what's called Farang, foreigners. I pull up to strangers, and we might spend 30 minutes, an hour, 5 hours. We might spend 10 hours that day, going from zero to relaxed presence and quality time with no effort, no schedule, no particular agenda, and it is the most enjoyable time I'll spend all year with other human beings. If I want to spend quality time with objects, with a house, with Amazon deliveries, things like that, the United States wins hands down. If you want a relationship with objects, be they institutions or things or cars or whatever it is, the United States is the place to be. But Thailand is 1,000% easier. And I measure that by the fact that in 1 month in Thailand, I will have more quality fun time with foreigners and Thai in Thailand than I will in an entire year in the United States. Well, that's incredible, and that's worth it right there as someone who has a primary love language, if you're familiar with the book, The Five Love Languages, of quality time.